What's up, YouTube? Bobbles and Ball Cards back with another video. I hope everybody had a wonderful week out there. Weekend. Um, Hope you enjoyed your Memorial Day, and I hope this start to your week has been great. For everybody in the early May submission, your packages have been shipped out. If you didn't have me ship them at the end of last week, and then the late May submission is on its way to SGC. So, I just kind of wanted to, this is going to somewhat tie in with the live discussion I had last night, slightly, but I see a lot of videos out there debating on whether or not sports cards are an investment. And you hear both sides of the tale. You obviously, there's an entire channel called Sports Card Investor. There is title after title of videos investing in sports cards. You hear people when they're buying cards, I invested, $10,000 in this card or whatever, right? And then you hear the flip side to that where people are saying, well, cards aren't an investment. They're not an asset class, and there's many different arguments to be had with that. Me personally, I do not treat cards as stocks. I do not treat them in a necessarily. It's a tricky explanation. Do cards have a monetary value to them? Yes. But is that what appeals to me with them? No. Some of my favorite cards in my collection, the value of them is only pertained to me. I know there might be a handful of other collectors out there to collect certain players that I really enjoy, but is it an investment to where I'm putting money into it with the expectation of it to grow? And the answer to that would be no. The investment in that aspect of sports cards is my enjoyment that I get out of collecting, or the time put in hunting and researching and trying to find and locate specific cards for within my collection. Here's a great example, and I don't partake in this, but this is a great example of why we need to, as an entire community, and as an entire sports card community, we need to remove only the financial aspect of sports cards when speaking on the term, are they an investment? Because how many times in this debate has came up over and over and over again regarding the PSA set registry? Now, that is something that appeals to a collector basis. There are people that build checklists. There's people that like to build sets that may be on that registry. Even off the registry, there's people that like to build sets. They invest lots of time into hunting and searching cards to complete those sets. Now, that doesn't necessarily tie into monetary investing. That is them investing time for an enjoyment, which goes back to the definition and what I was speaking on last night of what exactly is the hobby. A hobby is something that we should be doing in our spare leisurely time to gain enjoyment from. A stress reliever, something to clear our mind with, something to have fun with, something to enjoy. That is what the hobby should be for folks. Now, when we're meshing the investment aspect, it's broadened too far into only seeing it in financial sense. It's only looking at the monetary investing of sports cards. That's where you get a lot of the collector talk versus flipper talk versus investor talk versus, XYZ elemental P. The truth is, and I said it last night, the hobby is too broad of a statement because there is many entities that lies within the hobby. We do not have a clear, definitive answer to what the hobby is, but we know sports cards are a hobby. Okay, it's a hobby to many of us, and then you can break it down into multiple segments of what you enjoy, what you get out of it, as to why it is a hobby to you. Now, that goes the same for investing. I can say I bought a Babe Ruth because I know when I put my money into it, the likelihood of it retaining or growing in value over time is likely versus me putting money into someone who may be a new player in Major League Baseball. I feel more comfortable investing my money into a Babe Ruth or a Hank Aaron or a Willie Mays or a Mickey Mantle. But the other side to it is I invest many hours sitting down at the computer, looking on eBay, looking on websites to learn about sets. I've showed you guys recently some of the cards I've been sending in to grade. Those cards, they are not for a monetary investment purpose. Literally, I have been having an absolute blast getting on, and I'll tell you guys some of the places I go. I go to Trading Card Database, and I go to VCP, and I check out different sets. I look up different people. I look up inventors, presidential folks, political people, important entities from history, actors, singers, all sorts of things. And I just dive in, and then I look for more and more sets. So, am I doing that? Am I buying those cards with an expectation of monetary gain from them? No. In fact, some of the stuff I've sent in, like the Santana and the Bob Marley and the other one, Jimi Hendrix, I sent those in specifically, and if you watch the reveal video, I said I knew they were low grade. I knew they were a 1. They had creases in them and everything else, right? But I bought them cheap, and they are for my collection. So I invested, to be honest with you, I spent an entire day one day and jumped into a rabbit hole that I have yet to dig myself out of because of the fun that I have had researching sets, researching cards, researching people. That is an investment to me. Am I getting a monetary or financial gain out of it? No. But I am investing time into the hobby that I get enjoyment from, and that's why I love it as a hobby. Now, here's another way to look at things, and this is where it can be confusing. We state many different terms, such as the quote, time is money. But then you'll also hear, money can't buy happiness. I think in something as such as sports cards, we actually can debunk both theories. Time doesn't necessarily equal that you're going to gain money, but it also doesn't mean that money can't buy happiness. Because if we look at time as money and we invest time into the hobby by just worrying about having fun, then money, aka time, can buy us happiness. So, once again, think about that for a second. Break that down. Break that theory down of time is money, but then money can't buy happiness. Is cards an investment? Definitely. They are definitely an investment. Whether you're putting money into it or time into it, If you are having fun, you are investing either dollars or time into a hobby to have fun. If you go to a theme park, you are paying for admission to have fun. If you go to the movies, you are buying a ticket to go into something without knowing what that movie is going to be like. You are paying to go watch that movie to have fun. If you are hanging out with a friend, there is no cost involved, but you are investing your time to spend with a friend or relative to have fun. So, look at cards outside of only a monetary aspect. And again, I think all of the creator space and all of the influencer space and all of the folks that are doing, topics and content and this and that, I think they need to start defining which terms that they mean when they discuss the hobby. Like, which hobby aspect are you talking about? And I think folks also need to start explaining what they are talking about when they discuss investing and whether or not cards are or are not an investment. Okay? So I have the definition here just so folks can see some different definitions, and I want to go over some stuff over here. If you look here on number 1, it says, expend money with the expectation of achieving a profit or material result by putting it into financial plans, shares, or property. Cards are property, so they can be included in this statement, or by using it to develop a commercial venture, okay? That's number 1 here, and that would be on a money aspect. But if you look down here right under it, it says devote one's time, effort, or energy to a particular undertaking with the expectation of a worthwhile result. It does not say a financial result. It states a worthwhile result, which could be fun and happiness. So, are either of these correct? Yes, they both are. There is both ways that you can invest in sports cards, right? So, keep that in mind. There's the answer to the question. Are sports cards an investment? Yes, they are. No matter if you're looking at it monetarily or just hobby-wise and time-wise, they are an investment. Now, some stuff over here that I wanted to talk about. This says an investment is the dedication of an asset to attain an increase in value over a period of time. This is speaking on the monetary sense over here. There is some things here that says sayings and hazardous investing phrases. And some things I want you to note is all of these you hear from time to time in sports cards, which is very, very, very interesting on the monetary aspect. So this time it's different. We hear that often, especially recently, when people want to debate or combat whether or not we are approaching or in the midst of a junk wax era. You will hear them say, this time it's different. Back then there wasn't serial number cards. Back then you didn't have autographs. Yada yada, right? This time it's different. No, it's no different. It's the same with just some variances, okay? Keep that in mind. Buy low, sell high. That's been a new one, In 2020 and 2021, obviously, for a good period, everything was on the up, up, up. Well, now you're hearing buy low, sell high. It doesn't always work that way. You cannot buy every card. You can't always buy the dip to resell at a later time. Cards do not always rise in value. You can buy low, buy low, buy low, and it may stay at the very same dollar value that you bought low. So also keep that in mind, right? It's not always this, well, I bought it for $10, I can now sell it for $12. That's not how it works, all right? the old phrase, and something I don't really ever hear people talk about anymore, is now it's eBay comps, or go to 130 Point, or go to Market Movers, or go to Card Ladder, or go to Card Hedger, or whatever, and find the value and what's the comps and everything else, right? Well, back in the day, and I sound like an old ass right now, but it's worth what someone will pay for it. We didn't care about what the eBay comp was. If it said $100, great. Somebody sold it for $100. But you may put that card up and it may only go for 20. You don't know. You might have only had 2 individuals interested in that card. One was willing to pay $100. The other one, went up to $99.99 and lost it. But now the guy that paid $100, he's not looking to buy a second one. So the other guy that was looking to get one, he's like, oh, well, here's another one available. I can get it at a lower price, right? So now you have one guy that paid $100, and the next guy, he gets it for $20. That's how it worked. The I got in early. That is definitely true. And if you got in early, hopefully you sold at the proper time and did not sit and think that it was going to continue to grow. I was very blessed with the amount of product and inventory that I had sitting here, and the way the boom happened. I got in early. Now, did I know that it wasn't going to sustain? Damn, bet your ass I knew. That's why I sold as much stuff as I could. I wish I had more time, and I had listed my ass off when the boom was going on, because I had so much stuff that I could have just unloaded. I got rid of a lot. I'm very thankful for it. But the truth is, if I wasn't already into sports cards, I wouldn't have been in that situation. So, I'm waiting for the pullback. That's one that we heard, in 2020 and 2021. Waiting for the pullback. The pullback has happened. It's here. But are people still buying? Are they buying those Prism cards that were so glorious in 2020 and 2021? Don't see much of them. Base is dead now, right? But they were all the rage when things were on the rise. So keep that in mind. The trend is your friend. That goes up here to the buy low, sell high. Trends happen. Trends are very predictable, really, in this space. If you know the history of like off-season buys and this sort of thing, or if you watch people's actions, the funny thing is, there's been a lot of talk about pump and dump and everything, and the truth is, you can actually see it as it's happening. You don't have to be told about it. You don't have to like see a sale happen. You can actually predict it way ahead of time. And what I've always told people, and my best suggestion is, if it's not something that interests you, like, I'm just going to throw this out there. I'm not pinpointing anybody in this matter. I'm just using this as a topic because it came up. But let's say the Marvel PMGs, right? My best suggestion was, if you've seen that happening and you weren't interested in Marvel PMGs, then ignore it and stay the hell away. Like, don't drink the Kool-Aid, right? I said that in a video. Don't drink the Kool-Aid. If you were interested in Marvel PMGs and you did spot what was going on, the only thing I could suggest is to buy as early as possible. Because if you spot it and it's going to happen, then the likelihood is you're going to, people wind up with FOMO. We know that too. And then they buy in, they drink the Kool-Aid, and then they wind up overpaying. And then they get left holding the bag later on, because then they look at it and they're like, well, hell, I spent $500 and this card's back down to $200. I screwed up. And then that's when they get mad and they start leaving, sports cards or whatever. They stop collecting because they feel like they got taken advantage of. So that's where it all lies to be an issue. It's a market of stocks, not a stock market. This one is more probably just to the stock market, but I always cringe when I hear people comparing cards to stocks, because stocks are individual companies and entities, and cards, you know, you can have a Mickey Mantle, but Mickey Mantle has several different cards, right? So he is not one, he's not Amazon, okay? Because unless you're buying into Amazon shipping or Amazon home decor or Amazon electronics, you know, Mantle has many different cards. So he is not just Mickey Mantle. He has several different cards, autographs, grades, grading companies, you know, rookies, uh, autographs, memorabilia pieces. There's so much in there that it's not just one entity that you are buying into. You aren't just putting money into Mickey Mantle. So I don't like comparing cards against stocks. I think they are separate things and they should be treated differently. Okay? Um, Here you got bulls make money, bears make money, pigs get slaughtered. I've heard the pigs get slaughtered phase. If you don't understand it, then put your life savings into it. This I have never heard, and I will tell you, if anybody ever says that, they are absolutely stupid. I'm going to tell you one big reason why I absolutely love sports cards and why I feel more confident even to say if I invested in sports cards monetarily that I would feel a million times better and safer than if I did in stocks or crypto or NFTs or something like that. And it is simply because I do not know a damn thing about the stock market. I do not know how to watch the trends. I don't know how to buy into the companies. I don't even know how to trade stocks, nothing. I really wished my grandfather had talked to me about it. I did not know that he actually was involved in the stock market pretty heavily. I did not realize that until it was too late. He had passed away, and then I was told he had a bunch of stocks. I never knew my grandfather knew anything about stocks. So I never was taught anything about the stock market. It's never been anything that's interested me, but I do know sports cards. It's something that I do, as many have noticed, with a passion, and not just on the financial aspect of it. I absolutely love collecting. I love the grind. Even, you know, I've been doing these plain white envelope videos with you guys to show you, yeah, it's work. You're not making $1,000 flip, but you can turn these $2 and $3, $5, $8 cards into, you know, a Mickey Mantle. You can do it. It's going to take time, it's going to take dedication, and it's going to take some effort. But you can do it. That's why I share a lot of the things I do with you guys. It's not, you know, I sometimes get scared, honestly, and maybe that's a flaw of my channel, but I get scared to go in talking about dollars and this and that, because I've always felt like if I did that, that somebody might look at it as bragging. You know, sharing, even mail days sometimes, if y'all notice, I don't really tell what I pay for stuff, because it's more important to me showing you guys like the excitement and what I picked up than really the price of it or the value of it, right? You know, I just love, I love sharing the cards with you guys, but uh, again, the dollars and cents side of it, that's a place I proceed with caution, because I don't ever want anyone to think it's bragging or, you know, gloating or something like that. And so I would just rather share the items themselves. If somebody asks, or if there's something out there, you know, that it has a point to discuss the value of it, then sure, I'm gonna do it. Or, like, you know, showing you guys the plain white envelope sales or whatever. That's a little bit different. But yeah, so that's really all I have for you guys. Just, is cards investments? Sure. No matter which way you look at them, they are an investment. Now, am I going to say if you're putting your money into them and you are investing monetarily that you are going to necessarily get a gain from them? Nope, not going to say that. And I know that the financial side of things, when people discuss that and whether or not cards are an investment, that's what they are referring to. I do know that 100%. And I would agree there is no guarantees that you will ever earn or gain from investing money into a sports card. But if you're doing it to have fun and you are investing your time into it, they 100% can damn sure be an investment. So that's all I got for you guys. I hope you enjoyed this. Leave a comment down below. Let me know your thoughts. And as always, stay safe, stay healthy, and until the next video, I'm out.